The day heaven touched earth, I want you to imagine a town so small, so incredibly small, that if someone sneezed in the town square, the people at the end of the street would probably say, "Health." The houses were simple, made of wood and stone. The smell of fresh bread always wafted from Mr. Tobias's bakery, and the sound of the chapel bells was the city's clock. It was a peaceful place, but it was also a place where nobody expected anything extraordinary to happen. And it is precisely in these places in the hidden corners of the world that's where the greatest miracles usually begin. The boy is too simple to be special, or is he? Elias lived in the middle of those dirt roads, a boy with sweet eyes, messy hair, and feet that were almost always dirty, because he was always running around barefoot. Elias wasn't the smartest person. He wasn't the strongest. It wasn't the fastest. But there was something about him that no one could explain. He was kind in a way that almost seemed exaggerated. If he saw someone who was sad, he would stop and listen. If he saw someone carrying heavy loads, he would help. If he saw a sick animal, he would spend hours taking care of it. People used to say, "This boy has something different about him. He has a heart that doesn't fit inside his chest. He's still going to do great things." But Elijah, he didn't believe any of it. He said, "I only do what my heart tells me to." And little did he know that this heart would be used for miracles that the world would never forget. The morning that started like any other and ended up changing everything. It was very early. It was so early that the roosters were still deciding whether or not to crow. The sky was painted purple, orange, and pink. One of those sunrises that makes everything more beautiful. Elias was walking along the dirt road carrying a basket of bread to deliver to Mr. Tobias. He whistled softly, kicking pebbles and watching a blue butterfly that seemed to be following him, until he heard a groan. At first, he thought it was some kind of animal, but when he got closer, he saw a woman sitting on the ground, holding her leg with both hands. Her eyes were filled with tears. Elias dropped the basket and ran. "Miss, are you hurt?" She could barely breathe from the pain. I tripped. My knee." The knee was swollen, purple, and hot. She couldn't move her leg. Elias didn't know what to do. He had no medicine. He wasn't a doctor. It was nothing but something inside him. An impulse, a feeling of do something. He pushed his hand forward. He didn't think. He only touched her knee. And the moment his hand touched the woman's skin, it happened. A warmth began in Elias's chest. It climbed up my arm. It even reached my hand. And then, something so incredible happened that it's hard to describe. It was as if a small light was emanating from within him. Not a light that the eyes see, but a light that the heart feels. The woman slowly opened her eyes. She stopped crying. He took a deep breath, and she spoke in a trembling voice. "My son. My son, what have you done? The pain is gone." Elias pulled his hand away, startled. He looked at her. He looked at his own arm, and she felt a chill in her stomach. The woman stood up, without any pain. Elias took a step back. I didn't do anything." But the woman cupped his face in her hands and said, "Yes, he did. And he did something that nobody else can do. And before leaving, she said something that would forever be etched in Elias's heart. You have a gift, and one day, everyone will know." The voice that no one else heard. As Elijah walked back, trying to understand what had happened, a gentle breeze passed by, very slowly, touching his face. And then, a voice, very light, very sweet, as if it were a whisper within the soul, spoke. "Do not be afraid, Elijah. I will be with you." He stopped. He looked around. Nobody. But he felt it. He knew. Something inside him had awakened. And that morning, which started like any other, it became the first chapter in the story of the saint who healed with his touch. The first miracles when heaven touched earth for the second time after that first miraculous touch. Elijah spent the rest of the day in silence. She walked slowly, holding the basket of bread with trembling hands. Even Mr. Tobias noticed. "Elias, are you all right, boy?" "Yes, I am. Just tired." But it wasn't tiredness. It was something he didn't have words to explain. The sensation of warmth that passed through his body. The light that he did not see with his eyes, but felt in his heart. The gentle voice that whispered within the soul. It all seemed like a dream, but it wasn't. And deep down, Elijah knew this was going to happen again. A few days later, Elias was playing near the square with some children from the village. He was simple. I liked to run barefoot, climb trees, and invent funny stories. He was as normal as any other boy his age. But that afternoon, something happened that would change everything. Sitting in the shade of a tree was Samuel, a boy known for something very sad. Since he was born, he couldn't open his right hand. The fingers were clenched and stiff, as if they were sleeping forever. Samuel was playing alone, trying to hold pebbles with his left hand, but they would fall to the ground. Elijah approached and asked, "Why don't you use this hand here?" pointing to a closed fist. Samuel sighed, "Because it doesn't work. It never has." The way he spoke, it hurt. It was the kind of sadness that you can't see, but you can feel it from afar. Without thinking, Elijah grasped Samuel's closed hand. "Can I try to help?" Samuel shrugged, as if to say, "It won't make a difference." And when Elijah touched his hand, it happened again. That heat, that brilliant feeling, that energy seemed to come from a place much greater than Elias himself. He felt it all rising up, his arm, and then Samuel's first finger twitched, just a little bit, very slowly. Then another one, another one. The fingers began to spread open, like the petals of a flower that has finally found the sun. Samuel looked at his own hand as one might look at a miracle, because it was a miracle. And he started laughing so loudly that even the birds stopped singing for a moment. His mother ran to the square, and when she saw her son's open hand, he fell to his knees. "That's impossible, impossible." Elias didn't know what to say. I didn't even know how to react. He only knew one truth. He was playing, and something happened. In the following days, people began to see Elijah in a different light. Some looked on with hope, others were astonished, others are afraid. Dono Berenice, the biggest gossip in town, used to say that boy has a different kind of sparkle in his eyes. The blacksmith said, "This is divine." But others murmured, "A miracle," or "Witchcraft. What if it's dangerous? What if it attracts problems?" Elijah heard all of this, and the more he listened, the smaller his heart felt. He didn't want to be special. "I just wanted to help. I just wanted to do good." But it seemed that the more he healed, the more distant he felt from people, until something unexpected happened. One day, a girl named Rachel ran up to Elijah, breathless. Elias, my grandmother, she can't get out of bed anymore. My mother said she's tried everything. Can you go there, please?" Elias swallowed hard. He was afraid. What if it didn't work this time? What if he hurt someone? What if it was all just a coincidence? But the soft voice, the same one he had heard days before, whispered back inside him, "Tell me." Elias then took a deep breath and said, "Let's go." When he arrived at Raquel's grandmother's house, he found a weak, pale woman with tired eyes. She smiled when she saw him. "You're the boy with the light touch, aren't you?" Elias was embarrassed. I just want to help." He held her hand, and he waited. Seconds, long seconds, until the heat is back. But this time, it was different. It was stronger, deeper. It was as if Elijah was connected to something greater than he could comprehend. The woman took a deep breath. Her face regained color. She sat down on the bed. The daughter and granddaughter started to cry. And the woman, with a serene smile, said, "My son, as long as your heart is pure, your touch will always be light." The beginning of everything, the first miracles. Elias didn't know it, but at that moment, the whole village would start looking for him, and the stories that would follow would be just as impressive. He would travel through distant lands, and they would become eternal. The hands that carried light. Now imagine you are following the saint along a dirt road. One of those very old ones, full of dust that rises when the wind blows. The sun begins to rise and paints the whole sky orange and pink, and the saint, that simple, calm man, continues walking with the same tranquil smile, as if he were listening to music that only he could hear. And that's where the most impressive part of the story begins. Once, a mother ran up to him, Her feet were pounding the ground so fast, it felt like her heart was going to jump out of her chest. She was carrying a boy in her arms, a frail, trembling boy with a pale face and short breath. "Please, help my son," she screamed, tears streaming down her face. The saint was not frightened. He did not despair. He simply placed his hand on the child's chest, slowly, like someone holding a feather so as not to hurt it. And at that exact moment, the boy stopped trembling. He breathed easier. He opened his eyes, and the mother felt something she had never felt before. Peace. A peace so profound it seemed to fill the air around them. It was as if that touch carried an invisible light, an energy that corrected what was wrong and restored life. Days later, people brought an elderly man who could no longer walk to the saint. His legs had been weak for years, and no one could explain why. People were asking, "Will we witness another miracle?" The saint knelt beside the man. She placed her hands on his legs, very slowly, and closed her eyes, as if she were talking to someone no one else could see. The sun seemed to shine brighter at that moment. The wind stopped. Everyone held their breath. And then, the man moved his foot. Then he moved the other one. He tried to stand up. He staggered a little, and stood up. And before anyone could understand what was happening, the man began to cry and laugh at the same time. "I'm walking! I'm walking!" People hugged each other. Others shouted. Some knelt. Others just cried. It was like watching the impossible become reality right before your eyes. But the saint didn't only heal what could be seen. He healed feelings as well. One day, a very sad girl, a girl who had lost her father, sat down next to him. She didn't say anything. She just stared at the floor. The saint didn't ask anything. He simply placed his hand on her shoulder, and suddenly, the girl felt as if a warm rain was falling inside her. A rain that washed everything away. Fear, loneliness, sadness, the absence of a father. She smiled for the first time in months. Those around realized that the saint's touch wasn't just for the body. He cared for the soul. And the most curious thing, sometimes the saint didn't even need to touch. Just the thought of someone getting close to him, or walk beside you, or even holding a stone where he had sat. Something was changing. The pain was decreasing. Anxiety disappeared. Hearts were calming down, as if the saint were a warm bonfire in the middle of a cold night. You didn't need to hug the bonfire. Just being near, I could already feel the heat. And the people began to ask, "How does he do that? Where did you learn that? Is it magic? Is it a miracle?" But the saint never said. He would simply reply, "My hands are just the beginning. Healing doesn't come from them. It comes from the love that moves them." And that phrase, it will forever remain in the memory of all who saw it. Curiosity grows. How was this man capable of doing all that? Why him of all people? And how far can these miracles go? The last miracle, and the secret revealed after so many miracles, so many stories, and so many healings that seemed otherworldly. People began to wonder, is there a limit to what a saint can do? Will we ever see the greatest miracle of all? And unbeknownst to anyone, the day was very near. One night, something strange happened. The wind stopped. The birds that always sang before going to sleep were quiet. Even the dogs, who loved to bark at any movement, fell silent. It was as if all of nature was waiting for something. The saint was walking alone along a road lit only by the moon. He seemed worried. This time, he walked slowly, as if feeling an invisible weight on his back. As he passed through the village, a child who was still awake saw him and ran to warn him. The saint is different. He needs help. People left their homes. They grabbed lanterns, candles, and oil lamps, and they followed the saint without him noticing. He was walking towards the top of a hill, a place where nobody went at night, a place where the sky seemed to touch the earth. Up there was a small house, and inside her was a very special woman. She was known to everyone as Dona Esperana, Mrs. Hope, because she always took care of the other families when something bad happened. But now, she was the one who needed help. Mrs. Hope was very ill. He was so sick, he couldn't even open his eyes anymore. His breathing was short, tired, like a flame flickering by a thread. Her daughter, holding her mother's hand, cried uncontrollably. "Please, please, Save my mother." When the saint entered, silence filled the room. He knelt beside the bed, but this time, he didn't put his hands on it immediately. He closed his eyes. He took a deep breath, and a sad expression appeared on his face. This frightened everyone, because no one had ever seen the saint sad. In a low voice, almost a whisper, the saint said, "Not all miracles happen the way you wish." People looked at each other, desperate. He continued, "But they all happen in the right way." Dona Esperana's daughter began to sob. "No, don't go away now, please." The saint took her hand and said, "Love never goes away. Sometimes it just changes location, and then, for the first time in all of history, the saint began to cry." The saint placed his hands on Dona Esperana's chest. His hands weren't shining this time. There was no divine light illuminating the room. There was no wind moving. Nothing seemed different. But then, suddenly, a gentle warmth filled the room. Not a heat that can be seen, but a heat that can be felt. Like when the morning sun hits your face and makes you close your eyes. Dona Esperana's breathing became easier. His face relaxed. The fingers stopped trembling. And then, she opened her eyes. Slowly, very slowly. She looked at her daughter. He smiled, and he said, "Don't cry, my little one. I am at peace." And at that exact moment, she left, in a calm manner. No pain, without suffering, like someone who lies down to rest after a long day. People were confused. The daughter started crying harder. The neighbors wondered. But there was no miracle. He didn't succeed this time. The saint, with tears streaming down his face, replied. The miracle happened. Everyone stood there, bewildered. He continued. She didn't need to be brought back. She needed to be taken with love. And at that moment, the daughter felt something incredible. Not sadness, not anger, but a peace so profound that she couldn't explain it. It was as if someone had embraced her heart. People asked the saint, "So your power isn't always for healing the body?" And he replied, "My touch only works because it's not mine. It comes from a love greater than life and greater than death." He placed his hand on his own chest. "True healing isn't in my fingers. It's in what comes from the heart." And at that moment, everyone understood the secret. The saint did not only cure diseases, he healed pains that no one else could see. It healed wounds that time could not close. It cured fears that people hid, and that one, which many called a flaw, it ended up becoming the most beautiful miracle of all. The miracle of love that transforms farewell into peace. This is the most emotional moment in the video. It's where the audience cries, connects, shares, comments, and debates. Here you prepare the perfect transition to the conclusion, which can end with a powerful message about love, healing, faith, and legacy. The legacy of the saint WHO healed with his touch. People saw that the saint's miracles were far greater than anyone had imagined. They realized that his goal was never to impress anyone, nor could he prove that he had powers, nor should he become some kind of untouchable hero. He only wanted to do one thing: love people. And when a person truly loves, everything around you changes. After the story of Dona Esperana, the saint continued helping everyone as he always had. It cured pain. He advised families. Smile at those who needed a smile. She helped children who were scared. She provided companionship to elderly people who felt lonely. He did everything without haste, without pride, without expecting anything in return. But one day, something unexpected happened. The saint woke up early, very early. He felt the wind rustling through the trees, heard the birds singing, and sensed something different in the air, something that only he seemed to feel. He walked to a large tree on top of a hill. He sat there in the shade and closed his eyes. Those who found him later said he appeared to be resting. I was smiling, so calm, so serene, that it was impossible not to feel peace when looking at him. The saint had departed, but not in a sad way. It seemed as if he had just returned home. When the news spread, the whole region went up to the hill where he was, and something incredible happened. No one cried as if it were the end. The tears that fell were different. They were tears of gratitude. People were hugging each other. Others told stories of what the saint had done. Some clutched their chests. remembering how his touch had changed their lives. And there, in the middle of the crowd, someone noticed something. The saint's hands were still warm. It was as if the light that lived within him had never gone away. After that day, no one in the village lived the same way. People started treating each other better, speak more calmly, listening to each other with more patience. They tried to imitate what the saint did, and they discovered a truth that changed everything. The saint's hands were on each of them. Not literally, of course, but what he did, the kindness, the affection, the care, the love, it was now inside all the people who had learned from him. The child who was previously afraid began to help other children who were afraid. The man who regained the ability to walk began supporting sad people. The girl who lost her father grew up to be someone who healed with kind words. It was as if the saint's touch had multiplied, and it traveled from hand to hand, from heart to heart. If you look at the whole story, you're going to realize something very important. The saint didn't have superpowers. It didn't perform magic. What did he have? It was love. And love, when it's true, it's the greatest miracle that exists. It heals the body, calms the soul, unites families, takes away the fear. It brings hope, and it transforms lives. That's why even today, when someone talks about the saint who healed, with a touch, people smile, close their eyes, and say, "I wish I had met him." But the truth is, in a way, you can be like him too, because all you have to do is extend your hand to offer affection, pay attention, and spread kindness, and you too will be performing miracles every day. And that's how the story ends, not as a farewell, but as an invitation. Be a healing touch in someone's life.